Thank you, everyone, for attending. We look forward to a great session with Tiago. Before we go into that, I do just want to give three plugs. So one, if you're not a member already of the TBM Council, do know it's free, easy to access, great research, information, and details. So I would highly encourage anyone that is not a member to become a member. The other space is we've got our TBM conference and executive strategy forum that is going to be November 10th through the 12th. We're located in Miami, Florida, so not a bad place. Good weather, it won't be freezing. So if you have not registered, please do so and look forward to doing that. So today, I'd like to introduce Tiago, who has been greatly letting us know that he will present on how Rowe price unlocks technology value. So Tiago, if you just want to do a little introduction. And also, I didn't introduce myself. I'm Lindsay Gates. I'm with the TBM Council, and I'm the head of the operations. So Tiago, if you'd like to introduce yourself.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Lindsay. Thanks so much for having me. I am Tiago Nascimento. I serve as a TBM director here at Rowe Price. I've been at Rowe Price for almost 2 years now in February of 2026. Prior to being at Rowe Price, I actually worked directly at Aptio. I led our customer success premier team as a director and was there for 5 years. So have been in the TBM space for a little bit over 7 years. Currently, I am also the co-chair of our TBM Maturity Strategy Committee and the TBM Council. So I have some folks here, such as Erica, that is joining today this call, but also has done a fantastic job there. And I also serve as a TBM ambassador for our Latin American region.
Oh, I love it. So great. That's tons of things. So let's dive into the conversation today. So Tiago, why is TBM important for an organization like T. Rowe Price?
Yeah, you know, TBM is really, I would say, the backbone of how we drive cost transparency and optimization across our tech landscape. It's not just about numbers, it's about accountability. And with TBM, we're able to deliver accurate and transparent chargebacks to our legal entities around the globe while keeping a close eye on the performance and ownership of our application and services.
Okay, great. So when you guys started this journey, what were your initial goals for the TBM journey? And what is kind of the main focus that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, so I will give here another plug in. I think you all heard that Adam Chen is on the call, was my predecessor here at T. Rowe Price. So he has done a fantastic job in getting us where we are today. I wasn't here for the beginning, but I do know this story, and I know that when TBM was first introduced at T. Rowe Price, the goal was pretty straightforward. They needed to get a handle on their application inventory. The CTO at the time had just joined the firm and immediately recognized the importance of holding our tech teams accountable for what they owned and operated. Back at the time, they didn't have any of that. So as they put an application rationalization inventory accountability in place, the push of clarity ownership is what sparked the TBM journey. And that's how they started to really look in technology business management, the cost allocation back to our chargeback legal entity. And it grows into a critical part of how we operate today.
Okay. And now that you're further along in your journey, what are some of the things that you guys are trying to tackle today? Because I would assume we've already gotten the app rationalization taken care of.
Yeah, so we still have, believe it or not, Lindsay, we still have a lot to go on the app rationalization service.
So,
Um, in the rationalization, we try to consolidate as much as possible because we do look at the cost optimization. We had a fantastic journey here in making the TBM process very sticky in terms of our baseline and getting us to where we are today. That's a critical component of our chargeback, right? We can't do our chargeback without the TBM data. And now we move to from an operational discipline to a strategic discipline. And what I mean by that, we are now focusing on insights and leveraging the discipline for cost optimization, and then really looking at to tell the story, make the news instead of just narrate the news of what's happening with our tech spends. We are the ones that are coming forward and giving people insights and data and levers to make decisions, strategic decisions that they didn't have before.
Perfect. So can you share a specific example of how the TBM insights have informed vendor negotiations or outsourcing decisions at T. Rowe Price?
Yes, we had a moment where one of our major vendors was pushing us to move from what we call their on-prem solution to a SaaS solution. The price it quoted us was outrageously high. So thanks to our TBM data, we had a clear picture of what the solution actually cost us on-prem, right? We had what we call the receipts to show how we are understand the total cost of ownership for that particular service or application. And that gave us leverage. We came to the negotiation table informed, confident, and ready to challenge the numbers. And because of our TBM allocation model, we were able to renegotiate a much more reasonable deal while still moving forward with the SaaS transition that we wanted and everybody wanted.
Okay. And then also too, to anyone in the audience, if you all have any questions as we're going through here, please put that into the chat. And let me just double check. Okay, perfect. All right. So we'll keep going. But if you all do have questions, please put there. So could you provide sort of an example of how did the finance directors leverage the IT chargeback data for setting service rates and shaping the financial strategy? And was there any sort of pushback or, little not quite understanding what they were trying to achieve?
Yeah, so let me answer the first part of the question, right? How specific examples of how our financial directors leverage the data here. Last year, as an example, one of our regional directors was asked to analyze and reduce costs for their legal entity, for their region. They turned to TBM data to really dig into the numbers, challenging consumption patterns and defending what was truly necessary. That really led to a smart rationalization of services and applications in that region because that particular person and region director in that region was very in tuned in the data, and TBM gave them the transparency to really look and say, we are being charged for this application, but how is that charge happening? Who is truly utilizing? Let's look at what I call right the receipts. Let's look at our logins, and we're able to say, hey, actually, that's not the true case here for us, or we don't need it. Let's rationalize and let's cut costs. That has really helped them to understand the rationalization of their services and applications that's being charged back to them. Once you have the accountability, once you are held responsible, now it's up to you to take those measures. And in terms of the second question, right, Lindsay, what were the pushbacks and some of the things that we've learned? Look, we all are sitting here. I'm sure everybody on this call are trying to find ways to say, is our TBM data, is our allocation perfect? And the answer is not. We are an organization that do charge 100% of our tech costs. We do have our direct applications that we understand precisely via the relationship between application owners and our business who is consuming, and they agree with that allocation. We do have our shared services, and we do have indirect, right, applications. And sometimes we do have directors and regional finance folks that will challenge the usage, the consumption, and what's being charged to them. At times, rightfully so, because they don't want to pay for something they are not benefiting from directly. And we come to the table, we have those conversations and either try to educate them or try to make changes that are reasonable for everyone involved in the process.
So how has the TBM data informed critical investment decisions or supported any monetization efforts within T. Rowe Price?
Yeah, TBM has been a game changer for us. especially when it comes to application decommissioning. It's given us the data we need to identify what's outdated, what's underused, and what's costing us more than it should. It has also helped us shine a light on the true cost of legacy infrastructure, which sometimes is often hidden. We don't really know. And that visibility has been key to driving our modernization efforts towards our purpose and precision. And that's in conjunction, of course, with our FinOps practice and engineers and everyone involved that are using our data to support the decisions that they're making.
Just a quick question on the FinOps practice. Do you all sit in the same cost center, or is there people always want to know where does TBM sit, where does FinOps sit? So where at T Rowe, how do you guys kind of handle that?
Yeah, so that is the one thing that I personally love here at T. Rowe Price. Uh, FinOps, TBM, and our software uh, asset management team, we all report under to one person. So we can
Oh,
all
nice.
say that we are one team. And what I love about it is because, look, TBM is growing with FinOps and it continue to grow. It's a discipline and practice that has been here before FinOps, but we continue to complement to one another. And instead of pulling forces apart, here at T. Rowe Prices, we're pulling those two forces together to really march towards the same objective and goal that we have for the company.
Okay, great. And what kind of governance, sorry, I can't speak. What type of governance do you all have in place to basically work across these different business units and help people understand what you're doing and what input they need from you?
Yeah, we have a very precise, I would say, change management here at T. Rowe Price, and we have created uh, that culture so we can get their buy-in in a highly regulated industry that it is investments, banking, finance, and folks on the call that are in those industries can relay. We have to have those governance to ensure that everybody is in agreement and there is no negative impact in our regulations and compliance across the globe. So for us, one thing that I did when I first joined the firm last year, the first quarter, was to create what we call a advisor committee. And what that does, they are folks from finance, business, application owners, engineers, folks from across the technology enterprise and the business. We come together once a month and we inform them the things that we have achieved in the past month or the past quarter. And we also talk to them about what is our look forward statement. And every time that we are about to make what I would call a major change that either is going to alter or it's going to more precisely allocate the cost of an application services into our business units and legal entities, we go to each one of them and say in separate meetings and say, here's what we have found in terms of data maturity. We are going to make those. We are proposing to make those changes. Here's the impact that would have. We want to hear your thoughts. And we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. This process can be, right, honestly, here a little bit slower than just making the changes and let them know and ask for forgiveness, not permission. But what we have found that taking that extra step really has made everyone informed and everyone bought in and everyone confident in the TBM discipline and in our team. So we are now the credible source that will tell them what the cost is, what are the levers that they have for optimization.
You feel like having these particular meetings is really as you go on, so that they're understanding what the TBM office is, how they're providing support, and just the value add that you guys give.
Lindsay, what was the beginning of the question again?
So, oh gosh, now I have to remember. So I was just saying of how having these advisory meetings and the different members coming together, has that created sort of an easier approach as you guys have the meetings and that you've continued to sort of show what TBM is and how it impacts them?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, because they feel part of it, right? It's the old consulting 101. Let that be their ideas. When you come to the meetings and present and let them speak, now what I am implementing here at the TBM office, it's more of the idea of the committee. They have collectively told us we agree or don't agree, here's the best approach, and this is how we should be moving forward. So it just makes us, it makes our job much easier. It's an extra hour a month that we take, but
Mhm.
makes it much easier.
Yeah, it makes just the collaboration piece. I think a lot of people don't realize that TBM touches sort of all these different spaces and places. So how you work together as a team and basically come up with the ideas that everyone agrees upon, as opposed to doing the whole, we'll just put it in and ask for forgiveness, like you said earlier.
Yeah.
So for the has TBM program at T Rowe created any sort of new career paths or provided skill development opportunities for employees, such as FinOps certification, TBM certification, anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say here at Zero Price, we have a culture of learning and development. And what I like about us, like I said, TBM, FinOps, and software management, we're all under one person. So that gives us the ability to learn and collaborate, not to mention that we are all aligned. And because we are a very active team, we do interact with finance, engineering, technology, service agreement, business, architecture. It gives us the advantage to continue to grow our own practice. And in some cases, which has happened in the past, is the opportunity for folks that have started in TBM or that have started in other practices and other departments within T. Rowe Price later come to TBM. Because of that exposure and collaboration, has given them the opportunity to move and grow within sometimes TBM, sometimes within our own practices in technology, but at times elsewhere in the firm, given right the exposure that we have, and I think that's the most important when we think about growth and empowering our people through TBM.
So you would say that the TBM office is viewed as a central point of expertise within T Rowe, and sort of how does that manifest?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, what I like about it is that we're certainly built at a central point of anything we call TCO, right? Total cost of ownership. And it matters because we are the industry experts that we bring the receipts of best practices. There's nothing better to come to meetings and be asked, hey, we're thinking about doing the allocation XYZ way, or we think about rolling out adoption in a way, we think about doing something else. And we can come back and say, based on conversation we've had with some of our industry experts via the council meetings, or based on this white paper that was brought in by the council or other firms out there, we can bring right that industry that gives us credibility, and we stay competitive and we stay market relevant to what's happening right now. But we're not just focused within T. Rowe Price, what's happening there. We're really broad and focused on what's happening outside. So people look at us as that credible source for anything TBM and technology, cost allocation, and optimization related.
Okay. And then from T Rowe Price, what are some of the key kind of reporting or data that you're providing back to your community?
Yeah, so it will really depend on the persona. But we do have for our business what we call detailed reporting in our legal entities. So they're able to see what are the costs that are being charged back to them, what are the application services, and drill down up to the PO level so they can understand the vendor. For our application owners, we do have reporting that will give them detail in terms of the infrastructure cost that's behind their applications. And again, go all the way down to the PO and labor level so they can understand and analyze, right? Is Lindsay just charging back to my application, or am I really working with Lindsay? And they can see that, they have that information. And most importantly, what we rolled out recently, it is the actionable, right? What do we call cost, or the ones that you can actually take action against. So we have now a lever that says, hey, Lindsay, you have this application that's costing you $5 million a year. But out of that $5 million, what are the actual costs that you can action against to rationalize? We give you that lever, and we're already doing half of the work for you, right? So instead of you just thinking, oh, I was told to optimize this application, how am I going to do that? And you look at everything that's behind, we're saying that is what's behind, and here's what you can take action on based on our parameters.
Okay, we've got a couple questions in the chat. So I'll start off. Kevin Kruger asks, how do you identify applications, i.e. a unique identifier? And was this in place before TBM, or did you need to drive an identifier?
Yeah, that is a great question, Kevin. We are going through what we call certification at the moment, and that question comes up a lot. Because to your point, anyone would think that maybe a website or product is an application, and it's not. The way that we are now, given our new enterprise architecture team and our collaboration, what we are telling our application owners, that's who identified someone in the tech community who is commercially responsible for the application. We identify as an application any product that is being consumed and in our tech stack, and that's being allocated out back to our business. We also understand if there are some products or services that will need some particular identifier to give some of our security and compliance performance. But when you come to the actual application, we look at what we call the total cost of ownership. So is it true application? Is it something consumed by the business? Does it use all the infrastructure, or is it just a SaaS, right? That goes with our software as a management team.
We have one other question from Dave Roos. Do you report up through IT or finance? Do you have a separate IT finance team? And where does it sit in the organization relative to TBM?
Yeah, so we do see it in technology. We do see it in IT. There is a separate FP&A finance team, that does look at IT as well, but they are part of the FP&A. What I like about it, in terms of where do they particularly sit in relative to the TBM, we work very well, and it's very collaborative. Now, I don't know if the reason is because someone that works in our TBM team, who's Harry Trailer, he came from that team. So he has a fantastic relationship with them, and he is the one that really bridges, I would say the gap, but it's really the person that brings both teams together. And Adam, who is on the call, has also done a fantastic job prior to us to really building that relationship, which has been right the base for us to continue to work with them. They're great partners, and I can't complain.
But it's always nice when you get a great partner that you get the opportunity to work together. It just makes life so much simpler.
Especially finance, right? I think the folks that are sitting here in finance love you all, but some finance teams can be hard on us. So when you have a great partnership with the finance team, there's nothing better, more enjoyable for us.
Agreed. So, Tiago, as a very seasoned practitioner and now being in this sort of area for quite some time, what is something that you wish that you knew when you first started that now it's like, of course, and I'm putting you on the spot, but I figured could ask just a couple
Yeah,
practitioner questions.
I think a couple things. One is TBM is fun. Just dive into it, and it's very dynamic. So it's not just a finance discipline or tool. It's a fun dynamic environment to be in. But most importantly, understand that you cannot tackle everything at once because there is a dependency on the TBM in terms of different teams and different data points. So if I could look back, right, 5, 6 years ago when I was working with customers at Aptio and pushing them to do so many things, I would probably have told myself, slow down, let's just focus on small wins and use those small wins to incrementally show growth and potential for a bigger picture, right? There's a bigger price out there, but go calmly, I would say.
Mm, yeah. And then we're coming up close to time, so I wanted to see if there are any questions that the audience would like to ask Tiago, either about T. Rowe Price or just in general, how to continue to build your TBM practice and foundations. See if there's any more. Tiago, are you going to the conference this year?
I am. I will be there. Definitely looking forward. And myself, Eric, and John, we are going to be hosting a session in our TBM maturity. So better look us up there and hope to see as many people as possible.
Perfect. And what's the session about that you guys are hosting?
So we are talking about what to, right? We've all done cost source to business unit chargeback and all that kind of good stuff. How can we keep TBM relevant? So we're thinking about ways that we can take those very mature organizations and continue to show value and grow our TBM practices.
Perfect. That sounds exciting. The conference is fun. Do you know how many conferences have you been to?
Probably like 3 or 4 at this point.
Oh, nice. Were you in Austin?
I was in Austin, yes.
The food was fabulous down in Austin, so I'm hoping they continue to do that here in Miami.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, let's see. It seems that there are no questions. Oh, nice job, Tiago. See you in Miami, says Dave Roosh. Best wishes on
Oh, thank
success.
you.
Yes. Well, Tiago, any last minute thoughts or things that you would like to wrap up and let the group know, either about T. Rowe, TBM practice, or just anything in general?
No, I just want to thank you all for taking the time here to spend with us. I really appreciate the attendance, and I look forward to meet of you that I can in person in Miami. So, certainly look
Pardon?
forward to that.
And you're an ambassador, that's right. Correct, Tiago?
I am. Yes,
So
I am.
Tiago will be one of the resources. We just wrote out the ambassador program a little bit ago, and it's basically some of our key TBM resources that really know what they're doing to help you out. So if you see Tiago at the conference, make sure to get a hold of him and ask some great questions. So thank you everyone today for the TBM Tuesday. Thank you so much, Tiago, for joining, and we look forward to seeing any of those that are able to attend the conference or executive strategy forum. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.